Hello and welcome. Today, we're going to explore a story built on a beautiful, timeless truth, captured in the title, Allah Sabki Sunta Hai, which means Allah listens to everyone. It's a story about the unseen threads of destiny and how even the quietest prayer, from the humblest of places, can truly set the universe into motion. And this is really the heart of it all. It's about a prayer that's so full of sincerity, so filled with genuine belief, that it just travels beyond the walls of a small room and starts a journey that's going to test and ultimately prove the unshakable promise of faith. So let's begin. Okay, so our story starts in the blessed city of Medina, and here we meet our main character, Imran. He's a young orphan, and his world, well, it's pretty small. A humble home where he lovingly takes care of his ailing grandmother. But his spirit, it's vast. He's a young man who isn't defined by his daily struggles, but by the incredible faith that helps him face them day in and day out. And here you can really see the two different worlds of Medina, existing right next to each other, but they're miles apart. On one side, you have Imran, who has next to nothing, but he is so rich in spirit. And on the other, there's Firaz, a powerful merchant living in a palace, whose grand walls can't even keep out the loneliness his daughter Zainab feels. These two lives, they seem completely separate, but they're about to get woven together by one simple act of kindness. Now, to really understand Imran, you have to get this concept of sabr. And it's so much more than just being patient. It's this deep, resilient trust that even when you're suffering, there's a divine plan, there's a purpose behind it all. This belief is the absolute bedrock of his character. It's what lets him face every single day with hope and dignity. And this is it. This is the moment where destiny just pivots on a single, selfless act. There's a sudden downpour, and Imran spots a veiled woman trying to find shelter. Without a second thought for himself, he offers her his only shawl. He has no idea this stranger is Zainab, the daughter of the wealthiest merchant in all of Medina. It's a gesture as small as a single raindrop, but believe me, an entire ocean of events is about to flow from it. So Imran's act of kindness doesn't just go unnoticed. His sincerity is about to be rewarded in ways he could never, ever have imagined. But light often attracts shadows. And with this reward comes a huge test of character, not just for him, but for those who are watching his rise with a whole lot of envy. And then his life just transforms, and it happens so fast. Zainab, who was so touched by his kindness, she tells her father, Firoz, being a man who can recognize true character when he sees it, offers Imran a job that completely changes his world. And when he finds out about Imran's sick grandmother, Firoz sends his own personal doctor to help her. One by one, the silent prayers that Imran held in his heart, they're being answered. But just as this door of blessings swings wide open, a shadow falls across it. And that shadow is Omar. He's the son of Firaz's business rival, and he has his own ambitions, which include marrying Zainab. He looks at Imran's sudden success not as a reward for being a good person, but as a direct obstacle to what he wants. And deep in his heart, this poisonous jealousy just begins to grow. Imran's honesty and hard work earn him Firoz's complete trust. He's given this massive responsibility to lead a very valuable trade caravan all the way to Basra. Now, this is an incredible opportunity for Imran, a real test of his new role. But this journey out into the desert, it's also the exact opportunity Umar has been waiting for to make his move. So as the caravan sets out, you have to realize it's carrying more than just goods. It's carrying the trust of a merchant, the hopes of a young man, and the prayers of his grandmother. The desert is just vast, and hidden dangers are waiting. And sure enough, under the cover of darkness, Umar and his hired men are out there stalking the caravan. Their plan is simple, and it's brutal. Steal everything and get rid of the one person standing in Umar's way for good. The silence of the desert is about to be shattered. The attack is swift. It's merciless. Imran fights with everything he has to protect the caravan, but he's completely outnumbered. And in all the chaos, he comes face to face with his betrayer, a masked Umar, who is just driven by pure, raw hatred and greed. The ambush reaches its brutal climax. Umar, his face hidden but his intentions crystal clear, drags the overpowered Imran to the edge of a deep ravine, and he just throws him in, leaving him for dead. As Imran lies there broken at the bottom, his last conscious act isn't a scream of despair. It's a whisper, a faint prayer to the one who he knows is always listening. Now, this looks like the end, right? But it's actually the complete opposite. It's a turning point. This is where the story shifts away from just human actions to something much bigger, the invisible hand of destiny, and how even in our absolute darkest moments, there might be a plan unfolding that we just can't see yet. And this is a perfect illustration of the concept of taqdir. It's this deep belief that nothing happens by chance. Imran being left for dead in that specific ravine at that exact time, well, that wasn't the end of his story. It was actually a necessary chapter in a much, much grander divine plan. And from that dark moment, this incredible chain of events begins. A passing shepherd, Ale, just happens to hear Imran's faint cries. He's rescued, he's taken to a Bedouin tribe, and they nurse him back to health. And in return for their incredible kindness, Imran uses some old knowledge he has to find them a source of water they desperately needed. So his deepest trial actually transforms into a huge blessing for an entire community. But while Imran is finding healing out in the desert, Umar is spreading poison back in the city. He returns to Medina and just weaves this web of lies. He claims that Faraz was the mastermind behind the raid and that Imran was his accomplice. The city, completely fooled by his deceit, turns against the honorable merchant, leaving Faraz totally isolated and his life's work completely in ruin. And so, we come to the final act. All the pieces are now in place for the truth to finally be revealed. This part of the story is all about restoring honor and showing the inescapable nature of divine justice. Imran and his new friend Ali come back to Medina, but in secret. They set this very clever trap. Ali pretends to be a trader, selling goods that look identical to the ones stolen from the caravan. Of course, lured by his own greed, Ammar approaches him and starts boasting about how he pulled off the original crime. What he doesn't know is that the city's judge is hiding nearby, listening to every single self-incriminating word. Justice arrives, sprung from a trap of Ammar's own making. With that one confession, the scales of justice are finally balanced. Umar is arrested, Feroz's good name is restored, and the entire city apologizes for ever doubting him. Feroz, overjoyed, welcomes Imran back not just as a hero, but as a full partner in his business. And soon after, he gives him the greatest honor of all, the hand of his daughter, Zainab, in marriage. So, after all of that, what are we supposed to take away from this incredible journey? This last part isn't just an ending. It's a chance for us to really reflect on the deep truths that were woven into Imran's life story. I mean, just think about the lessons here. Imran's patience, his sabr, was rewarded beyond anything he could have asked for. His trust in the divine plan, his taqdir, was completely validated. One tiny act of kindness, giving away a shawl, set his entire destiny in motion. Meanwhile, Omar's envy was the very thing that led to his own downfall. It really reminds us that true wealth is never something you can keep in a palace. It's something you find in a heart that's full of faith. And this really brings us to one last thought, something for you to consider in your own life. When Imran was at his absolute lowest point, left for dead in that ravine, his prayer might have seemed like it went unanswered. But did it? Or was that the very moment that led him to Ali, that led to his survival, and ultimately to justice? It's a really powerful question to sit with. Because in the end, the whole story brings us right back to that simple, unwavering truth. Whether it's a whisper from a tiny room or a cry from the bottom of a ravine, every single prayer is heard. The promise isn't that we'll be saved from hardship, but that we will never, ever have to face it alone.